It looks like the king of Halloween just lost his queen. Tim Burton and Monica Bellucci have officially called it quits. The pair announced their split in a joint statement saying it was done with much respect and deep care for each other. Sounds peaceful, right? And Monica herself backed that up in her first interview since the news broke. Talking to Vogue Italia, she reflected on their time together with grace, saying their roads crossed for a while, then separated, but that Tim will always hold a special place in her heart. That's a pretty poetic way to describe a breakup, don't you think? Their story started back in October 2022 when Tim and Monica met at the Lumiere Festival in Lyon. Sparks flew, and by the next year, Monica was already gushing about Tim and Elle France. What I can say, I'm glad I met the man, first of all, she said. It's one of those encounters that rarely happens in life. I know the man, I love him, and now I am going to meet the director. Another adventure begins. Now that's the kind of romance you'd expect straight out of a Burton film. And they weren't shy about showing the world their bond. Remember their big red carpet debut? That happened in October 2023 at the Rome Film Festival for Monica's movie Diabolic Who Are You? From there, the couple kept making headlines, especially when Tim cast Monica in Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, his long-awaited sequel to the 1988 cult classic.
Oh, actually, I have a key role in this movie for which I thought about you, so I was very happy to accept it and to play it.
By June this year, they were still walking hand in hand at the Taormina Film Festival. But just months later, the fairy tale vibe faded, and suddenly, no more Tim and Monica. Of course, Burton's love life has made news before. Before Monica, he spent over a decade with Helena Bonham Carter, with whom he shares 2 kids. During the filming of Planet of the Apes in 2001, the first time she worked with Burton, Helena barely spoke to him. The only thing she remembers him saying to her is that he knew he wanted her as one of his apes, and that he had once lived in Hampstead, and it was the only place in the world he'd felt at home. The one thing he should have mentioned is that he had a girlfriend, actress Lisa Marie, who was also featured in the Planet of the Apes film, and they were living together. Some say the affair between Burton and Bonham Carter started even before the movie wrapped. Whatever the facts may be, Burton quickly dumped Lisa in favor of the quirky Helena. It's safe to say that Lisa wasn't thrilled about the split because, as soon as Tim had moved out of their home, she auctioned off everything that he had left behind. Burton wasn't thrilled about that either. Nevertheless, after the film was finished, when Helena was 35, they started dating and Burton bought the house next door. Actually, the 2 houses next door. Her dream of having Mr. Right living next door had come true. Their unconventional relationship received many eyebrow raises from the outside world. No one seemed to understand why Tim would go out of his way to buy 2 houses next door, and not simply move in with Helena. The 2 spaces had little design consistency. In fact, one house had Helena's aesthetic, and the other had Tim's.
We have a big house. We did have little ones, and now they just looks like a big house, which has no interior design constancy whatsoever. You know, There's a bit that looks a bit like me, which is tasteful, which is bizarre.
She claimed that her house looked like something out of Beatrix Potter, while Tim's had Oompa Loompas, skeletons, and slime balls laying around. We just have 2 houses knocked together because mine was too small. We see as much of each other as any couple, but our relationship is enhanced by knowing we have our personal space to retreat to. Tim does snore, and that's an element the actress shared. Eventually, Burton and Bonham Carter made the move of linking those adjacent homes via a walkway, and it seemed like a win-win situation. Having your partner right there when you need them, with the knowledge that you could easily storm off to your own side of the house when you got into an argument. As the years went by, the couple made countless films together and welcomed 2 sons together, Billy Ray and Nell. They all seemed to live happily in their conjoined homes. Once she got together with Burton, Bonham Carter's image was transformed. They were often photographed together in black, their complexions equally pale, hair equally scruffy. She'd be snapped pushing the kids up the hill looking as if she'd just stepped out of bed. After giving birth, she was happy to have photographs released showing parts of her body that most women would have been ashamed of. However unstylish the tabloids made her seem, she still looked lovely.
What am I looking at? Is your dress covered in what I think it's covered?
Yes, it is.
It's very interesting. Do you see that, or do you see fencing?
Do you fence or
It's a Rochat tent. Do you see that?
I'm often criticized for what I wear. That's my main label in the press now. Disastrous dresser. Sometimes it's really offensive, but it's kind of affectionate now. We're like the bonkers couple.
And I kind of feel like they're going to bitch about me anyway, so I might as well give them something to bitch about. You know, the shoes. Is it going to, is it a good idea? Whatever. It doesn't matter. In a way, it's kind of a relief,
Sadly, tragedy struck Helena's family in 2008 in a shocking incident. The actress was left mourning 4 members of her family after they were killed in a horrific road accident. Bonham Carter's relatives were on a safari holiday in South Africa when a minibus they were traveling in spun out of control and flipped over after a tire burst. 5 of the 7 family members on board were thrown out of the minibus. Her cousin, Fiona Bonham Carter, 51, escaped with a broken shoulder, but unfortunately, Fiona's son Marcus, aged 14, her mother Brenda, 74, stepfather Francis, 75, and sister-in-law Kay, who was 54, didn't survive the crash. Helena was overwhelmed with grief from the loss and took time off from working to give her time to come to terms with the accident that took the lives of so many members of her family. Unfortunately, just a few years later, Helena suffered another loss. After some 13 years together, her relationship with Tim broke down and the pair went their own ways. In 2014, Bonham Carter and Burton announced that they had separated amicably earlier that year. Nearly 10 months later, though, Carter chose to break her silence on the separation. I could write a thesis on what's happened. It is all absorbing when a relationship breaks down, but I think we're coming through it. And I think we'll have something very precious still. Our relationship was always somewhat special, and I think it'll always remain special. While the actress insisted she wasn't able to reveal why she and Tim went their separate ways, she did say, "I didn't leave," put it that way. The actress further explained that just because a relationship came to an end shouldn't mean that it wasn't successful. She admitted that sometimes a couple just isn't meant to be together forever. However, she still considers the relationship to be a massive gift because they gave each other wonderful memories, 2 children, and a whole lot more.
And then finally, Tim Burton, who is my genius, and thank you for the big-headed queen. And thank you for, helping me make the 8th and 9th wonders of the world that are our children.
Helena added that it has taken a while for her family to adjust. She said that things were really very good now. After initially struggling with not having her 2 children, Billy and Nell, who are both in their teens, around the house all the time. Detailing her experience, Helena revealed, "The cruelty of divorce is extraordinary. But then you get to a point where you're like, oh, I get this week off. Some parts are very much to be recommended." While the couple never married after being together for 13 years, it makes total sense for the split to feel more like a divorce than just a simple breakup. While it was a tough adjustment for everyone, the actress was able to mend her heart and move on. In fact, she describes how she met her new boyfriend to be a happy accident. Helena's current partner, Ray Dag Holmboe, 22 years her junior, met at a wedding a couple of years ago. While you might be shocked at their age gap, it's not something that bothers her at all. In fact, she describes him to be an old soul in a young body. What more could a woman ask for? She explained that the wedding was totally random and they both almost didn't end up attending. It was one of those moments that was so chance and ended up determining so much. A really happy accident, and it's an amazing thing. When it comes to moving on, Helena admitted she grew tired of grieving her relationship with Tim and knew she had to put it behind her. She now leads a happy life with her new boyfriend, and it seems like things couldn't be better for the actress.